there were people.
Now he's driving around the parking lot.
Take me back to old Yazoo. Everything up here is new. I can't stand it, just must land it.
In the heart of a remote forest, the creators of Signs and Signals embarked on an exploration with modest expectations. Their goal was simple: revisit Buck's grave, a site rumored to harbor paranormal energy. It was a place they had visited in their youth, capturing faint orbs and lights that sparked their curiosity. What began as a casual investigation, however, quickly turned into a night of terror, leaving them shaken and questioning what had really unfolded. The video begins with the group filming B-roll footage while driving through the narrow, winding forest trail.
I think that's enough B-roll there.
Yeah.
You don't want to waste up all the battery already.
The camera's battery's getting low.
The night was calm, the towering trees casting long shadows under the dim glow of their headlights. Their conversation was light, filled with anticipation about revisiting a place tied to so many childhood memories. As the dense forest closed in around them, the only sounds were the hum of the truck's engine and the faint rustling of leaves in the cool night breeze. But the tranquility didn't last. As they ventured deeper into the woods, one of the crew members noticed something unusual: a faint, glowing headlamp moving erratically among the trees.
Dale.
What the f, dude? I'm zooming in, I can't.
Dale.
What the f?
What the f are you supposed to do?
Ain't nobody supposed to be out here? Oh, sh. That just walked in the woods. Where's the headlamp at? The headlamp should be right there. Like he didn't, like he stopped. Did he turn off the light? Can you see in there?
No, I can't see.
I'm zoomed in. I can't hardly see.
Don't zoom in. It ain't gonna help.
What the f? No one's supposed to be out here. What the f was that dude doing?
What do you mean he turned the headset off?
There's no light. Like, I saw him walk into the woods right around there, and then the light that was on his fucking head is gone. It's not there.
Dude, he could be up in that right there right now.
I can't see shit. I'm not rolling down this window. I don't see any light. What the f did we just walk in on? What was he holding? What are you doing?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
I don't want to just
what are you
sit
doing?
here.
Well, why can't we just go? We can't turn
can't.
around any fucking where. Damn it.
The road's too narrow. I can't back up and do this.
You can't? You got a reverse camera?
We have to go forward.
What the f, dude? David.
There's just a huge cliff. There's just a huge cliff right here. I don't know what you want me to do.
Are you fucking serious, bro? What the hell is that? What did he have?
Was it right here? Where?
I don't know. I can't tell.
No, it was at this patch. No, look up
Did
in
we
there.
go past it?
No, it was right in here. Up in there. Oh,
there's f***ing light. Is that him laying on the ground? No, he f***ing threw the light on the ground. He f***ing threw that damn light on the ground.
the light.
How would you walk down the window, dude? You can't.
Are you serious right now, Dale?
You can't see it. I thought I heard something.
It was strange, considering how remote the location was. The forest wasn't the kind of place one would expect to find others, especially at this hour. The group paused, peering through the windshield, their chatter replaced by uneasy silence as they watched the light bob and weave. Then, just as abruptly as it appeared, the light vanished. The woods fell into an eerie quiet, as if the forest itself were holding its breath. Confusion turned to alarm as the group debated what they had just seen. Was it a hiker? A lost camper? Someone in trouble? They called out into the darkness, offering help, but no answer came.
That light's just sitting there. He f***ing threw it down. Where did he go?
Hold on.
What was that?
Hold on. He might need help. Hello? You need help?
Dad, the motherfucker don't need help. What did he have down here? He threw something on the ground.
The silence was deafening, broken only by the faint creak of the truck's brakes as they inched forward, scanning the trees for any sign of movement. The narrow trail they were on made retreat nearly impossible. A steep drop-off on one side and dense foliage on the other left them with no choice but to push ahead. Their headlights barely penetrated the oppressive darkness, which seemed to close in tighter with every passing moment. The unease in the truck was palpable, their lighthearted adventure morphing into something far more sinister.
David, what the hell are you doing?
Hello?
I already tried that. He don't want none.
I'm trying to hear.
You dumb motherfucker. Okay, come on. Maybe I should go get the light. Go get the light? Dude, I can't be moving around. You know this. You go out there and then some...
We're just gonna leave and just pretend like this didn't happen?
Oh, it happened, and we have no business being a part of it. Let's go. This is some dumb shit. This ain't even what we're supposed to be here for.
Dude, I couldn't hear or see anything out there. It's so pitch black.
As they approached the spot where the light had last been seen, they noticed something unusual on the ground. A faint glimmer caught their eyes. The headlamp, discarded. It lay still, the soft glow extinguished, as if it had been deliberately tossed aside. The sight sent a shiver through the group. Was this a warning? A trap? Every scenario seemed worse than the last, and the oppressive silence around them only heightened their anxiety. The group hesitated, torn between their curiosity and the primal urge to flee. One of them suggested investigating further, but the majority quickly dismissed the idea. The situation felt wrong. Too quiet, too calculated. Whatever was out there didn't feel like a coincidence, and they weren't willing to risk finding out the hard way. The decision was unanimous. They needed to leave. As they continued down the trail, the tension in the truck was thick enough to cut with a knife. Their escape wasn't immediate. The narrow road forced them to proceed slowly, and every sound, every shadow seemed to taunt them. The dense forest felt alive, its towering trees casting eerie silhouettes that danced in the truck's headlights. No one spoke much, the weight of what they'd seen pressing heavily on their minds. Finally reaching a safer stretch of road, the group exhaled collectively. Though the relief was short-lived, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were still being watched, that whatever or whoever they'd seen might still be lurking in the woods, tracking their retreat. The sense of unease stayed with them long after they left the forest, the encounter etched into their memories. The questions that lingered were as unsettling as the event itself. Who had been in the woods that night? Was it a camper, a hiker, or something far more sinister? The discarded headlamp, the vanishing light, and the silent forest seemed to hint at a presence that defied explanation. For the creators of signs and signals, the woods, once a place of nostalgia and wonder, had revealed a darker side. Sometimes curiosity can lead to encounters that are best left unexplored. Just when you think the forest encounter was chilling enough, the next story takes us to a stealth camper's van, where a sudden and terrifying break-in will leave you on edge. Don't go anywhere. For stealth camper and YouTuber Ian, camping in his car has become a lifestyle, offering the freedom to explore while maintaining a low-budget existence. But on one particular night, a seemingly ordinary stealth camping spot turned into a harrowing experience that highlighted the risks of public stealth camping. The incident occurred late one Saturday night in a McDonald's parking lot, a location Ian had frequented before without issue. Exhausted from a long shift at work, Ian chose the spot for its convenience and security. The restaurant was open 24 hours, and the surrounding area was bustling enough to feel relatively safe. The plan was simple: park his car, hunker down, and get some much-needed rest. But what unfolded was far from ordinary.
What's going on, man? What's going on? What's up? What's up, man? What's going on? What are you doing? Hey, bro. What's up? What you doing, man? You ain't fucking weird, bro. What the hell, man? Sorry, guys, my light's on. Oh, man, I'm shaking, dude. I had my whole setup. I was sleeping back there, dude. Oh, man, he tried to open my door. And then you guys saw that. He wasn't saying anything, man. Dude was a freaking zombie, dude. I don't even have my glasses on. I can't be driving. Oh, I gotta get to a safe spot, guys.
Someone was actively trying to open his car door. Gathering his courage, Ian sat up and quickly turned on his interior light. Peering out through the windows, he spotted a shadowy figure standing near his car. The individual appeared disoriented, their movements slow and unsteady, like something out of a nightmare. Ian immediately rolled down the window just enough to call out, asking what they were doing. The figure remained silent, offering no explanation or apology. The eerie stillness of the interaction heightened Ian's anxiety. Attempting to de-escalate the situation, Ian locked his doors tightly and started his car to signal that he was ready to leave. The figure, however, lingered near the vehicle, their behavior increasingly erratic. Finally, they wandered off, disappearing into the shadows of the parking lot. But the unsettling encounter wasn't over yet. Minutes later, Ian noticed the figure or someone who looked eerily similar nearby again, this time moving in and out of the dimly lit areas around the parking lot.
There he is. There he is. I see him. No, is that a lady? It might be a woman. I don't know. Honestly, it's hard to tell. That's what stealth camping is like sometimes.
It was difficult to tell if it was the same person or someone else entirely, but their presence felt unnerving. Ian described the individual as having an almost zombie-like demeanor, their silence and erratic movements amplifying the tension of the situation. Despite the fear, Ian managed to document the encounter on camera. His voice, shaky and nervous, captured the raw emotion of the moment. He expressed disbelief, describing how the situation reminded him of dramatic stories he had seen in thumbnails or videos online. This time, however, it wasn't clickbait. It was happening to him in real life. The experience shattered Ian's perception of safety during stealth camping. He reflected on how the very nature of stealth camping, being in public yet hidden, made it impossible to control who or what might approach. The location, which had seemed ideal, quickly became a place of fear and vulnerability. Ian eventually decided to move to a new location for the night, realizing that staying put was not worth the risk. The psychological toll of the encounter was evident as he struggled to process what had just occurred. What should have been a peaceful night turned into a stark reminder of the unpredictability of public spaces and the risks inherent in stealth camping. While stealth camping offers freedom and adventure, it also exposes campers to the unpredictable behavior of strangers. As the video ends, Ian's voice carries a mix of exhaustion and relief. He expresses gratitude for having documented the incident, but acknowledges the emotional impact it left behind. Indy Van A. Jones is a YouTube and van life enthusiast for whom living on the road has always been about freedom, adventure, and the simplicity of life in a micro-camper van. But on one unforgettable night, his home on wheels became the site of an alarming break-in, leaving him questioning the safety of his lifestyle. The encounter began after a day of exploration in the Lake District. Indy and his partner had enjoyed a scenic boat ride and a relaxing day as tourists. Preparing for an early workday, he decided to park at a familiar spot for the night, a location he'd used often, though not typically on weekends due to the presence of boy racers. That night was a Wednesday, and while he expected a quiet stay, the arrival of several noisy cars forced him to relocate after midnight. The new parking spot, an industrial estate surrounded by parked lorries and dim streetlights, seemed like a practical choice. With only 3 hours until his alarm, Indy settled in, falling asleep quickly in the back of his van. The night, however, took a terrifying turn at exactly 3:01 a.m.
Head was at this side, feet were down that side. I had a sheet over that part so no light could get in and all that. It adds a bit of sound deadening too. And then a brick came through that window straight over onto that seat. After the brick came in, an arm followed it, grabbed my work bag and shot back out the window. No, I don't know what had happened. Male instinct kicked in. I shouted, "Oi!" Started flapping around, opened the back door and ran after them. Can you imagine my naked body chasing after somebody down the street? Before I got to them, they jumped in a van and they were gone.
Indy was jolted awake by the sound of shattering glass. A brick smashed through the side window, landing inside the van. Before he could fully process what was happening, an intruder's arm reached through the broken window, grabbed his work bag, and disappeared into the darkness. Acting on instinct, Indy shouted, scrambled to unlock the back door, and took off in pursuit of the thief, wearing nothing but his birthday suit. He ran through the empty industrial estate, determined to recover his belongings. But before he could catch up, the intruder jumped into a waiting van and sped off into the night. The surreal image of chasing someone in the dead of night only added to the bizarre nature of the encounter. Defeated, he returned to his van where the chaos continued.
Now, whenever I'm in the van, I get my keys, find the lock button and listen. The van is locked while I'm inside the van. However, there is a little latch down the side of the door to get out. So there's me out running down this industrial estate, trying my hardest to catch them, grab my work bag back. There's nothing really valuable in the work bag at all. A couple of tachograph cards and my water bottle, my headphones, my CPC card, just all the stuff a driver would need in his work bag. My lunch. Upon returning to the van though, the whole van's alarm system's going off. I tried to get in the back, realising instantly that I had no clothes on. Went round to the back, grabbed the door, it was locked. Hold on, what's happening here? The alarm's still going off at this time. Side door was locked, this door was locked. What am I going to do? I jumped out the van, left the keys inside the van, and I'd gone running off. The van had locked itself because it was already locked before I got out. Luckily, to an extent, luckily, the side window was missing. A brick had just gone through. I had to crawl my naked butt through there into the back to get the keys to unlock the van, to disable the alarm system so that the alarm would stop going off, for me to then get back in the van, get myself sorted, figure out what to do, what's just happened.
As Indy realized, in his haste to chase the thief, he had left his keys inside. Worse still, the van had auto-locked. With no other way in, he was forced to climb back through the shattered window, cutting himself on the shards of glass. Once inside, he disabled the alarm, assessed the damage, and began cleaning up. Despite his efforts, the van was in disarray with broken glass scattered everywhere, the side window missing and the interior exposed to the elements. Adding to the stress was the loss of his work bag, which contained crucial items like tachograph and CPC cards, essential for his job as a driver. The situation demanded immediate action. Indy spent the early hours of the morning ordering replacements and arranging repairs, enduring mounting costs and logistical headaches. Between the broken window, lost documents, and disruption to his workday, the ordeal was shaping up to be a logistical and financial nightmare. Yet a small stroke of luck brought some relief. Later that day, a Good Samaritan found Indy's bag, discarded over a fence, and contacted his workplace using the identification inside. To his surprise, everything in the bag was intact, from his headphones to his sunglasses. The return of his belongings offered a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. The process of repairing the damage to his van became a lesson in patience and resilience. While insurance covered much of the cost, Indy had to endure several days with a temporary plexiglass window. The experience left him more cautious about where to park, and more determined to install additional security measures, including CCTV cameras. Reflecting on the incident, Indy shared his story with humor and positivity, choosing to see the silver linings. Despite the trauma, he gained a new windscreen, a fresh perspective on safety, and a deeper appreciation for the support of friends and family. Just when you think it can't get more unsettling, we head to a remote hilltop in France where a couple's peaceful night in their motorhome is shattered by an unexpected and terrifying attack. To van lifers Chris and Charlene, their motorhome had always been a haven for adventure and exploration. From scenic vistas to peaceful campsites, their travels had brought them joy and connection to nature. But during a night stop in France, Their sense of security was shaken by a terrifying encounter that left them questioning their safety on the road. The day began like any other, with the couple exploring the countryside and searching for the perfect park-up spot. Their journey eventually led them to a picturesque location at the top of a hill, surrounded by trees and equipped with benches and a fire pit. The view was stunning, offering a serene backdrop for their evening. As the daylight faded, they built a fire, enjoyed a meal, and planned their next adventures. Despite the chill in the air and the growing wind, the atmosphere remained peaceful. However, the slight incline of the parking area made sleeping in the motorhome uncomfortable. After weighing their options, Chris and Charlene decided to relocate to a flatter spot lower on the hill. By the time they parked at their new location, exhaustion was setting in. They locked the doors, settled into their motorhome, and prepared for a quiet night's rest. But peace was not in the cards.
We're back on the road because we couldn't sleep where we were. Basically, there were a lot of people outside our van, and we didn't feel safe there, so we had to leave. We were asleep and we heard a lot of noise coming from outside. We think that there were people having a laugh, and a chat, but it turned out to be a nightmare for us. We're very tired right now.
At around 3 a.m., the couple was jolted awake by loud noises outside their motorhome. At first, it sounded like voices and music, faint but growing louder. They assumed it was a group of people having fun nearby, which wasn't entirely unusual. However, the situation escalated quickly. The voices moved closer, and suddenly, their motorhome was under attack. Loud bangs echoed through the night as unknown individuals began pounding on the vehicle from multiple sides. Charlene's dog, Holly, began barking furiously, her instincts recognizing the threat. Chris and Charlene, still groggy from being woken up, felt a surge of panic. The situation was made worse by the realization that there were multiple people outside, their actions deliberate and menacing. Chris described hearing a loud thud on the bonnet, followed by banging on the sides of the motorhome, which grew louder and more aggressive. For a moment, Chris considered stepping outside to confront the group, but the sheer number of attackers and the unpredictability of their intentions stopped him. Instead, they decided the best course of action was to leave immediately. Chris started the engine and they sped away, their hearts racing. As they drove off into the darkness, they were gripped by the fear that the group might follow them. After about 15 minutes of aimless driving, they finally felt safe enough to stop. The adrenaline coursing through their veins left them shaken and unable to fully process what had just happened. It was a complete shock, Charlene later said, reflecting on the events. We didn't know who they were or what they wanted. We just knew we had to get out of there. The following morning, parked safely in a new location, Chris and Charlene tried to make sense of the encounter. Thankfully, there was no damage to the motorhome, but the emotional toll was significant. The couple reflected on how quickly a seemingly peaceful park-up could turn into a nightmare. While they had heard stories of vans being targeted or robbed, they never imagined it would happen to them. The experience served as a wake-up call, prompting them to re-evaluate their approach to choosing park-up spots. They realized the importance of avoiding secluded locations, especially at night, and being vigilant about their surroundings. Charlene admitted that in the past, they had sometimes felt overly comfortable, even forgetting to lock doors in safe areas. This incident reminded them that precautions are essential, even in places that seem harmless. Despite the frightening encounter, Chris and Charlene were grateful that they had escaped unharmed and without any lasting damage to their motorhome. We were lucky this time, Chris reflected, but it's a lesson they will never forget. Kenny, the adventurous soul behind the YouTube channel Kenny of All Trades, is no stranger to the call of the wild. With his trusty camper truck and loyal dog Toby by his side, Kenny has explored some of the most beautiful and remote corners of the country, sharing his experiences with his audience. On September 14, 2024, Kenny set out for a solo camping trip in Foothills State Forest, Minnesota, eager for a peaceful night under the stars. However, the night had other plans, turning his serene escape into an unsettling encounter that would leave him questioning what truly lurks in the forest. The trip began as many of Kenny's adventures do, with optimism and a sense of discovery. Accompanied by Toby, he found the perfect spot, a quiet field surrounded by trees, complete with a fire pit. "What else do you need for a night of camping?" he said with a smile. The isolation didn't bother him. In fact, it was part of the allure. Though cell service was non-existent, Kenny sent his GPS coordinates to his partner using a Garmin InReach device, ensuring someone knew his location. Confident in his setup, he settled in for what he thought would be a peaceful night. The evening began as expected, with the forest offering a tranquil backdrop.
Fire, Toby and I came into the woods looking for a mushroom, a big chicken in the woods. It'll go perfectly with tonight's supper. Beautiful night for a walk out here. We've had some pretty cool temps the last few weeks, so there's not much for bugs out here. It's really not too bad at all. I'm not finding anything, which is a little surprising because I can find them all over by the house. You get out here and there's absolutely nothing. It's like glacial scrapes or something. That's really cool.
Kenny and Toby enjoyed a walk through the woods, followed by dinner by the campfire. The calm atmosphere and crackling fire provided a sense of solitude that Kenny cherished. Yet, as night fell and darkness enveloped the campsite, the forest began to change. At first, the noises were subtle, distant rustles and faint snaps, which Kenny dismissed as falling leaves or branches breaking. The stillness of the forest magnified every sound, making even the smallest noises seem louder and closer than they were. Despite the growing unease, Kenny tried to remain calm, assuring himself there was nothing unusual about the nighttime sounds of the wilderness, but the noises didn't stop.
The woods is really loud tonight. I got stuff going on all around me. I'm hearing crashes in the woods over here and crashes over there, and it's probably just something as simple as leaves falling, but like in dead silence, everything sounds so much louder. I do got the flashlight out here though, just in case. As I was walking down the steps, my stomach started growling, and it sounded like a person talking for a second. I didn't realize it was my stomach. Oh, it scared the daylights out of me. I'm telling you what, there is just noises all over.
The rustles turned to loud crashes, seeming to come from different directions around the campsite. Kenny grabbed his flashlight, its beam slicing through the dense darkness, but the forest revealed nothing out of the ordinary. He joked about how his own growling stomach startled him, sounding momentarily like a person speaking in the silent night. However, his lighthearted tone couldn't mask the tension building in the air. Unable to shake the feeling of being watched, Kenny decided to investigate further. Leaving Toby safely inside the camper, he ventured down the nearby road. The darkness was absolute, with his flashlight providing the only illumination. As he walked, he thought he saw a flash of light in the distance, possibly a reflector or something glinting in the shadows. The noises continued, a mix of crashing sounds and unidentifiable movements, but Kenny found no definitive source. The forest seemed alive, but with what? He couldn't say. After some time, Kenny returned to the safety of his campfire, deciding to sit by the flames for another hour before turning in for the night. The uneasy feeling persisted, but fatigue eventually won out. He climbed into his camper, locked the doors, and prepared to sleep. But just as he began to drift off, a loud thump hit the camper, jolting him awake.
It's like 3 a.m. I gotta go to bed. See what I'm talking about? When your mind starts playing tricks on you, these nights get really long. It's pretty dark out here. See you in the morning.
Heart pounding, he peered outside into the dark void of the forest, but saw nothing. Only the same dense shadows and the relentless sounds that had haunted the night. The noises continued, this time sounding as if small objects were being thrown at the camper. Acorns? Branches? Kenny tried to rationalize the sounds, convincing himself it was natural. Yet, the erratic thuds and the eerie atmosphere made it hard to dismiss the possibility of something, or someone, lurking just beyond the safety of his walls. With no answers and no clear threat in sight, Kenny decided the safest option was to stay locked inside. He lay awake, listening to the unnerving symphony of the forest until the first light of dawn began to filter through the trees. As the sun rose, the forest seemed to calm, its menacing presence dissipating with the daylight. Kenny emerged from the camper. Though he had survived the encounter unscathed, the night's events left a mark, a memory that would stay with him long after he left Foothills State Forest. As the eerie forest noises fade, our journey takes us to a seemingly quiet parking lot, where an ordinary stop quickly turns into a nerve-wracking encounter that will keep you on edge. For Tanya and Dave, creators behind Turn It Up World, life in their camper van is an adventure that takes them to unique locations. From scenic campgrounds to quirky truck stops, they embrace the challenges and joys of full-time RV living. But during a stop at a seemingly ordinary casino parking lot, their night took a chilling turn, leaving them uneasy and questioning the safety of their lifestyle. The day started like many others, with Tanya and Dave wrapping up their time at a campground in Lone Pine, California, and preparing for a 4-hour drive to their next destination. Their plan was to stay at the parking lot of an abandoned hotel near a casino. Stops like this, they explained, were a practical solution during long drives, a free place to park and rest before continuing on their journey. After arriving at the lot, the couple settled in and even explored the area, noting the abandoned amusement park nearby. The roller coasters and water rides, though long dormant, hinted at a once bustling attraction now overtaken by time.
It definitely looks like it's been kind of abandoned over here for quite a bit. I mean, look at this, like just all the grass is growing and everything. And this is very cool too, right? Look like an old water slide, almost like
Like
kind of those log rides, like Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain.
Come down here.
Come down and wisp right onto that one over there. That's pretty cool.
Right. This must have been a lot of fun in this day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. It looks. Hopefully they revive this. I mean, it doesn't look too weathered. Almost like with a little love and some dollars, you could probably bring this back.
I know. I don't see any signs yet of any comeback.
Yeah.
Any work on it, but maybe someday.
Yeah. It's so
I agree. It's cool.
Tanya and Dave marveled at the eerie beauty of the place, but the novelty of their surroundings soon gave way to unease. As night fell, Tanya noticed a man in a car who seemed out of place.
This guy right there is just like randomly came up to us and asked if we were, first question was veterans, and now he's driving around the parking lot. Dude, it's kind of creepy. So I let the security guards know, but he's out there just hovering around the parking lot. Oh man, that's a little unsettling. So I just turned the lights off. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to cook dinner. This is crazy, Dave.
It's crazy. I know it is. The guy's racing around the parking lot.
Racing. So I just turned the lights off. Hold on, let's close this up. I gotta finish with my meal.
He approached their camper and began asking strange questions, including whether they were veterans. Though polite, his demeanor was unsettling. After a brief exchange, the man drove off, but Tanya couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. The situation escalated when the same car returned, this time accompanied by a white van with few windows.
Black car. Feels a little weird as well. Just kind of sitting there. Oh gosh. That is the same one that was there earlier. The Ford that was there earlier that also kind of circled by. Black Ford Explorer. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm just worrying too much or... Let's see.
We're gonna move it on.
The vehicles circled their camper multiple times, moving slowly as if surveying the area. Tanya and Dave watched in growing alarm as the vehicles parked nearby. The occupants didn't get out. Instead, they remained inside, their intentions unclear. The security guard at the lot, whom Tanya had spoken with earlier, confirmed that the man had acted erratically, further heightening their concern. The couple described the sensation of being cased, a feeling as though their camper and its contents, including their bikes, were being targeted. Tanya noted the unnerving frequency of the car's appearances, with the vehicles returning several times and parking in a way that suggested coordination. The white van in particular seemed suspicious, its lack of windows making it an ideal vehicle for theft. As Tanya and Dave attempted to cook dinner, the presence of the cars made them too uneasy to continue. They decided to pack up and leave, prioritizing their safety over convenience. With adrenaline pumping, they quickly secured their belongings, turned off the lights, and drove away. The couple watched their mirrors closely, fearing they might be followed. After a tense drive, they reached a truck stop they had visited before. The familiarity of the location brought a wave of relief. Finally able to relax, they finished their dinner, the adrenaline of the night giving way to exhaustion. Tanya reflected on the experience, acknowledging that while they rarely felt unsafe during their travels, this encounter had shaken their confidence. The next morning, they woke feeling refreshed, but resolute in their decision to trust their instincts. Some might say we overreacted, Tanya said. But when your gut tells you something's off, it's better to be safe than sorry. The couple emphasized the importance of being vigilant and prepared, especially when staying in unconventional or remote locations. This unsettling encounter was a rare blemish in their otherwise positive experience with van life. For Tanya and Dave, the night at the casino parking lot was a stark lesson in the importance of trusting their instincts, and a story they would not soon forget. With this final encounter, I'll take your leave. Don't forget to check out more disturbing encounters, which will be on the screen in about 3 seconds. And with that, I'm out.